Echoes Beyond Sol. Episode 4, Threshold Protocol Location, Luna Prime, Hall of the Six. Time, 29:00:11:16, 0508 UTC. Earth hovered like a silent accusation above the obsidian dome of the Hall of the Six. Soft lights pulsed in the arcs above each pillar chair. Teal for energy, green for health, orange for data, crimson for defense, amber for harmony, and royal blue for exploration. In the center, the hololithic image of the Sol Sovereign shimmered with quiet menace. Grand Strategos Alaric Seth stood with arms folded, his crimson robes carved in sharp contrast to the sterile light. His voice sliced through the chamber. 72 hours without hard data. Our flagship drifts closer to an alien structure with no known protocol, no defensive perimeter, and no consent from this council. I demand a full recall, immediately. Cognition architect Shui Zhang sat motionless, orange veils casting fractal reflections across her cheekbones. And yet the anomaly has shown no aggression. Structured data does not equal threat. Our own cognition streams adapt similarly. Seth stepped forward. You'd compare recursive alien signals to childhood language acquisition? This isn't a sandbox. It's a live field test of our hubris. High Engineer Karen Jord activated a telemetry stream. A spectral image of the anomaly projected above the table, its golden spiral slowly rotating. Ship systems remain nominal. Power consumption from repositioning is within tolerance. Structural integrity unchanged. Petra Yoon's neural scans disagree, said Dr. Ari Neves, her voice clipped beneath her green mantle. Persistent harmonics in hippocampal regions. Low-frequency entrainment, signs of adaptive neural linkage. She is stable, said Miriam Talani, architect of civil harmony. Her amber ring glowed faintly, and she is not alone. Nova 9, Salcedo, Bosch, and Captain Dean are monitoring her closely. Monitoring? Seth laughed, low and sharp. You're letting her converse with a cosmic ghost and calling it supervision? Ibrahim Kosari, the royal blue-robed scholar of exploration, finally leaned forward. His hands were still, his eyes bright. Contact with the unknown was the very charter of the Sovereign. We built it to sail beyond protocol, to listen where others would fear. Neves shook her head. And if that listening opens the door to cognitive overwrite, biological corruption, quantum contagion? Kosari gestured to the hologram. Then we study it, measure it, learn how it works before we cast it into the abyss. A chime rang. Nova 9's filtered voice echoed across the chamber. Counselors, Captain Dean requests direct address. Talani nodded. Granted. The center of the dais shimmered. A three-dimensional transmission of Captain Sarah Dean appeared, arms behind her back, expression composed but taut. Behind her, the dim glow of the bridge, red and amber pillar lights in standby. Counselors, she began, the entity continues to broadcast harmonic data on a repeating spiral loop. Each cycle adapts, evolving slightly as though learning. Petra Yoon remains the clearest resonator. We believe she's being taught how to perceive it. Seth cut in. You've had 3 days. Why no results? Dean's tone sharpened. Because translation isn't linear. This is not language, it's memory patterning. We propose a direct approach, threshold protocol, passive entry, limited exposure, full oversight. Using a human as a lens, Neves growled. This is dangerous abstraction, not protocol. Dean held firm. She volunteered. We believe it's the only way to make contact before the anomaly deconstructs, or retreats. Njord turned to the others. Power reserves support a 6-hour limited mission. The artifact's energy field is stable. If we deny this now, we may never regain the opportunity. Seth's expression darkened. Or we avoid triggering an extinction event by keeping our distance. You forget. Machine cognition ended the world once already. Kosari stood, and we rebuilt that world by refusing to fear it, The collapse taught us to understand, not to silence. Talani raised her hand. Vote now. The chamber dimmed. Energy, Njord. Abstain. Health, Neves, oppose. Defense, Seth. Oppose. Data, Zhang. Approve. Habitat, Talani. Approve. Exploration, Kasari. Approve. Talani's voice echoed. Council grants a 6-hour exploratory window. No extensions. Nova 9 will monitor all biological and system interactions. Seth hissed, You've doomed us to curiosity. Dean's avatar didn't blink. Then I'll be the first to burn. Sovereign out. The projection vanished. Silence fell. Kasari stood slowly, smoothing his mantle. We are explorers. Let us not forget that. Location, TSV, Sol Sovereign. Observation ring. Time, 0531 UTC. Captain Dean stepped away from the comms node. Her jaw was set, but the tremor in her knuckles gave her away. Commander Nyla Voss approached quietly, datapad in hand. Council approved? Dean nodded. 6 hours. No errors. We launch before the artifact shifts again. Voss handed her the mission packet. Nova's tether grids are aligned, passive scans holding, Petra's vitals within baseline. Dean's gaze swept to the dark beyond the viewport. Out there, just beyond naked perception, the golden spiral pulsed once more. Not louder, just closer. Prep the crew, Dean said. Threshold begins now. Location, Deck 6, Anomaly Division Lab. Time, 5:47 UTC. 6 hours to figure out the thoughts of a space ghost, Zara Quinn muttered, flipping through telemetry layers. The golden spiral's waveform pulsed overhead in a holographic sweep, its elegant coils growing denser by the hour. Ghosts don't hum harmonics in perfect Fibonacci intervals, Dr. Kaito Sundaram replied, eyes fixed on the recursion curves. Above them, Milo Harper floated half-strapped into a zero-G cradle, upside down and fidgeting with a stylus. Ghosts don't ask you to bring a shuttle either. Kaito grinned faintly. Then perhaps we're inside a memory, one that remembers us back. Nova 9's projection flared in silent acknowledgement. Location, Deck 3, Cognition Suite. Dr. Lux Salcedo stood barefoot on the interface dais, light weaving through her cranial uplink. Her fingers flicked across twin spirals of real-time brainwave overlays, one human, one anomaly. Petra's readout was stable, if elevated. Nova 9's voice emerged like a ripple. Ensign Yoon's waveform is now 97.6% entrained to the anomaly's pulse pattern. Lux blinked. She's not just synchronizing, she's anticipating it. Conscious pre-adaptation? Nova asked. Or a feedback loop we don't yet understand? Lux exhaled. Either way, she goes in wired. The anomaly might already think of her as part of its continuity. Petra stood in the corner, silent. Then let's not keep it waiting. Location, Deck 5. Medical Bay. Dr. Aneri Bosch hovered over Petra's cranial scanner. Readouts cascaded with soft amber pulses. No sign of seizure, infection, or breach. But we're well past normal cognition. You're not just resonating, Petra, you're co-processing. I know, Petra said calmly. It doesn't feel invasive, just patient, like it's waiting for us to say the first word. Bosch handed her a sealed neural dampening suit. Let's not give it more than it asked for. One pulse too deep and I'm yanking you out. Understood. Location, Deck 7. Shuttle Bay 2. Technicians scrambled like bees beneath the shining body of the shuttle Halcyon, its silver belly shimmering under sterile light. Chief Rena Kovacevic was wrist-deep in the quantum tether interface, cursing in 3 languages. "Theo!" she shouted. "Where's my alignment calibrator?" Theo Gadot, barely 19, fresh out of apprentice boot, scurried across the gantry with the tool in hand. "Right here. Sorry. Just had to update the quantum sheath harmonics." Rena yanked it from his grip. "Don't update anything I haven't cursed at twice." Overhead, Nova 9's avatar floated serenely. Quantum tether diagnostics green. Low energy tractor initialized. Shuttle recall will occur passively within a 300-meter envelope. Rena glanced at the readout. Let's hope we don't have to reel her in like a sardine. Location, Deck 4. Tactical Command Suite. Major Beck Morales stood in front of the mission map, red field perimeters outlining the anomaly. Behind him, squad leaders from the Vipers, Tide, and Hammerfall divisions reviewed readiness files. "This isn't a security detail, it's a funeral watch," Morales muttered. "The only reason we're not on the shuttle is because they want silence." Commander Neela Voss entered briskly. "Shields stay cold. No emissions, no broadcasts." Morales turned, arms crossed. "You're walking our crew into a recursion anomaly without a leash. That's not bravery, that's bait." Captain Dean made the call. "Council backed it," Voss replied. "I trust my rifle more than a consensus vote." Location, Captain's ready room. Petra stood at ease before Captain Sarah Dean, her suit sealed and telemetry tags blinking in quiet rhythm. Dean looked her over, pausing only briefly at Petra's steady expression. "This isn't contact, it's exposure. You can abort at any moment. No one's a martyr here." Petra nodded. "I'll listen, that's all." Dean placed a hand on her shoulder. "And if it tries to make you more than that, I won't forget who I am." Dean's voice dropped. "Nova 9 is watching everything. If I say abort, you come home." Petra. "Understood." Location, Deck 1, Bridge. The bridge bathed in low amber. Pillar arcs glowed dim, save for data and exploration, which pulsed with faint anticipation. "Final systems check complete," Voss reported. "Threshold protocol authorization confirmed," said Nova 9. "Shuttle bay sealed. All data channels restricted to read-only." Captain Dean stepped onto the center ring, eyes fixed on the forward display where the spiral now shimmered with impossible geometry. Launch. The Halcyon slipped from the bay like a whisper, its hull backlit by the shimmering bloom of the golden spiral. Quantum tethers glowed faintly behind it, umbilicals of trust and silence. Petra sat alone in the shuttle, eyes closed, heartbeat matching the pulse beyond. Location, Shuttle Halcyon. Approaching anomaly field. Time, 0612 UTC. The cockpit dimmed as the Halcyon drifted past the outer edge of the spiral's radiant veil. What had once been a twisting coil of golden light was now a dense matrix, pulsing with intelligence. Petra Yoon stared ahead, unblinking. "Telemetry holding," Nova 9 whispered. "Harmonic envelope at 87%. No structural compromise." Petra nodded silently. Her breath matched the pulse in the lattice, unconsciously synchronized. Behind her, the quantum tether glimmered like a silk thread in starlight, trailing back toward the Sol's sovereign. It wasn't just a lifeline. It was an anchor to what they understood. Location, Deck 6. Anomaly, Division Lab. Kaido Sundaram's hands hovered over 3 display layers. "Her readings are stabilizing, but look, every third spike matches the spiral's core beat." Zara Quinn, standing beside him, frowned. "Entrainment?" Nova 9's projection shimmered. "Confirmed. But a new pattern is forming beneath it, recursive and adaptive." Milo Harper, spinning slowly in 0G, muttered, "So it's not just talking, it's tuning her." Kaido glanced at the display. "Or she's tuning it." Location, Deck 4. Tactical Command Room. Major Morales loomed over the tactical display, arms folded. The anomaly floated at the edge of sensor range, and the tether to the shuttle blinked like a nervous heartbeat. Hex Alondra approached, her exosuit half-powered for standby. No movement. No heat. "Doesn't feel like a trap." Morales grunted. "That's because traps are made for prey. This feels like a stage, like we're being invited to play a part we didn't audition for." Hammerfall's demo team silently checked gear in the background. The usual tension before an op was replaced with something colder. Anticipation, maybe. or reverence. Location, Deck 3. Cognition Suite. Dr. Lux Salcedo stood in a soft ring of interface light, brows furrowed. I've rerouted Petra's cognitive stream. There's a structure forming, like a scaffold of impressions. It's learning her preferences, her thinking rhythms. Ensign Petra Yoon's brainwave data spiraled in sync with the anomaly's pulses. Nova 9 intoned. Cross-reference shows the anomaly is now responding 0.5 seconds faster to her neural spikes. Adjusted output detected. She's not observing anymore, Lux said. She's interacting with it like it's an instrument, or a classroom. Location, Luna Prime. Council Hall of 6, live feed. A floating holoscreen above the central council ring showed Petra's shuttle nearing the lattice's luminous arc. Ari Neves, supreme bioethicist, narrowed her eyes. Her integration rate is exceeding predictive models. Alaric Seth's crimson sleeve twitched. That's not control. That's contamination. Zhui Zhang, hands folded, murmured, or convergence. Miriam Talani lifted a hand. The protocol was approved. Let it unfold. Kosari, eyes fixed on Petra's quiet silhouette, whispered, "This is how new languages begin." Location, Shuttle Halcyon. Petra's view twisted, elegantly, impossibly. The lattice bent not with light but with intent. Geometry folded, then unfolded again into a corridor of shimmering golden threads. Her console flared. A single word blinked across it in glyphs not meant for human eyes. Threshold. "Nova," she said softly, "I see a tunnel. It's not physical. It's like walking through a memory." Nova 9 replied quietly, "Field density increasing. Vector drift measured in non-Euclidean coordinates. Advise 0 input." Understood. Location, Deck 1. Bridge. Captain Dean stood still. Around her, the bridge crew remained in a focused hush. "New signal?" Voss asked. Nova 9 answered. "The anomaly is transmitting back, but not to us, only to Petra." "She's crossed the threshold," Dean said. Morales' voice chimed through the auxiliary feed. "Defense teams at full alert. If she doesn't come back in one piece..." "She will," Dean interrupted. Location, Shuttle Halcyon. A slow hum filled the cabin. Not mechanical, not even auditory. It vibrated in her ribs. Then Petra whispered, "It's asking me something." A second glyph appeared on the console. "Remember." Petra reached forward. She didn't touch the interface. She didn't need to. And in that moment, time folded. She was no longer in the cockpit. She stood, barefoot, in a field of starlight. The stars bent around her like reeds in wind. She saw faces, her mother, long dead, her first academy instructor, the twin she never had. All impressions, not visions, all wrapped in golden light. Location, Deck 3, Cognition Suite. Salcedo gasped. "She's in a sensory displacement. The anomaly is rewriting her input stream." Nova 9 added, "External stimuli suppressed. Neural echo detected. She is inside a symbolic space." Zara's voice overcome. "What does that mean?" Salcedo didn't blink. "She's dreaming. With the universe location, anomaly event boundary." Petra drifted deeper into the spiral, now slowed to a breath. The lattice opened into a spherical chamber of light. Glyphs surrounded her, but they weren't words. They were choices. She turned. Behind her, the tether shimmered. Ahead, the golden sphere pulsed once. It asked no questions. It waited. Petra inhaled, then stepped forward. Location, cognitive construct, anomaly, core layer. Petra's first breath in the chamber felt artificial. There was no air, yet sensation returned as if lungs were obeying simulation. The light here was weightless and vast, radiating from no source yet touching every surface of her body with warmth. The lattice no longer spun. It unfolded into planes of emotion, memory, and language, none of which used words. She took a step forward, barefoot, and the surface rippled like water in code. Glyphs began to flicker around her again, rotating through unknown symbology. But this time they stabilized into six distinct structures orbiting a golden pulse in the center. Each symbol glowed in a different hue: teal, green, orange, crimson, amber, and royal blue. "The pillars," Petra whispered. One by one the glyphs pulsed and projected not meaning, but resonance. She felt health, data, energy, culture, exploration, defense, and then a seventh pulse, colorless, undefined. "What is this?" she asked aloud. Nova 9's voice replied gently inside her mind. "Unknown construct detected, non-aligned pillar. No historical correlation." Unaligned? The seventh symbol pulsed again, this time pressing gently against her chest, not to harm, but to offer. It wasn't a message. It was a question. "Will you name this?" "Location, Deck 1, Bridge." "Her vital signs are shifting," Voss said. "No stress indicators, but the brainwave patterns unprecedented." "Explain," Dean ordered. Nova 9's voice floated from the overhead channel. "Cognitive data indicates subject has entered what may be a symbolic space constructed from Federation-aligned memory structures, but a seventh construct has appeared." Dean frowned. "A new pillar?" Nova 9 hesitated. "I cannot translate its function." Dean's jaw tightened. "Put the Council on standby. Now." Location, Luna Prime. Council Hall of Six. 6 holographic busts hovered again over the basalt dais. Miriam Talani spoke first. "Nova's feed confirms non-aligned symbolic entity inside the spiral. Petra may be facing a foundational intelligence." Kara Njord's teal projection pulsed. "How is that even possible? The pillars are human constructs. How would an anomaly mimic them?" "Or," said Ari Neves, "it's asking us if our system is complete." Alaric Seth shook his head. "No more delays. We pull her out. Now." Zhuizhang simply folded her hands. "You cannot recall someone from an invitation they have not yet answered." Kosari leaned forward. "Or perhaps it isn't mimicking us. Perhaps we're mimicking something older." Location, Anomaly Core. Symbolic Plane. Petra reached toward the seventh glyph. It didn't flare or resist. It shimmered like uncertainty waiting for purpose. "A mirror." She whispered, "Is this what you are?" Not a threat, not a relic, a question. She didn't touch it. She became it. For a moment Petra was everywhere. She saw Earth through the orbital lattice, saw herself born again and again, on Luna Prime, on Mars, in variant futures with different eyes. She stood in a version of the Sol Sovereign that had never launched. In one vision, it had burned on the launch pad. In another, it had never existed at all. She saw a Petra that never joined the Federation, one that stayed in her family's vineyard, another who died at 18. She saw timelines, not possible futures, possibilities the anomaly had already seen. Location, Deck 6. Anomaly Division. Kaito grabbed the edge of the console. "Something's happening. The signal just inverted." "Excuse me?" Zara called, rushing to the screen. "The input-output sync flipped," Kaito said. "Petra's not just receiving anymore, she's broadcasting." Milo muttered, "To what?" Nova 9's voice arrived chilled. "To the construct. She is rewriting part of it." Zara's voice dropped to a whisper. "She's not mapping the spiral. She's becoming part of its logic tree." Location, Deck 4. Tactical Readiness. Major Morales stared at the waveform building over the tactical array. "That's a new pattern." Hex leaned over. "Symmetrical. Looks like a gate." Morales turned slowly. "She's opening something." Location, Anomaly Core. Petra stood at the center of a spiral of light. The seventh glyph split open. Within it a corridor, long, weightless, lined with echoing pulses of thought. She felt her own memories reflect around her. Her failures, her doubts, her first brush with starlight. They weren't judgmental, they were preparing her. A voice, not Nova, not hers, rippled in the light. "Threshold confirmed." Nova 9 spoke again. "The construct is folding. You have 90 seconds before signal entropy." Petra turned once, looking back. Through the spiral, she saw every person she'd ever known, their reflections caught in strands of memory not hers. And ahead, the unknown. She stepped forward. Behind her, the spiral began to collapse inward. Glyphs swirled one last time. One more step. She reached toward the corridor's end and vanished. Location: Deck 3. Data Core Lab. Petra didn't collapse. She shimmered back into being, kneeling on the lab's polished alloy floor as if she had never left. Her breath came slow but steady. Her skin was cold to the touch, her fingers tingling as though every nerve had been rewritten. Floating nearby, the 7th glyph blinked once, then vanished, its energy dispersing like memory exhaled. Lux Salcedo rushed forward. "Petra! You're back! Are you hurt?" Petra blinked. "No, I don't think so." Nova 9's presence filled the room, her avatar appearing above the holotable, voice low and measured. Cognitive signature intact, minor temporal distortion, neural pathways remain functional but altered. Lux scanned the nearby console, the anomaly imprint still echoing inside her short-term memory stack. "I was inside something," Petra said slowly. "Not just data, a mind, a place built from how it learns." "What did it show you?" Lux asked. Petra looked up. "Everything, and more." Location: Deck 1. Bridge. Captain Dean stood with arms folded, expression unreadable as she reviewed the reintegration log streaming across the console. Voss, pale but composed, sat beside her. "Nova," Dean said, "has the anomaly changed?" Nova 9's reply was immediate. "External waveform remains dormant. The construct has retracted, signal amplitude reduced by 64%, no immediate threat indicators." "Until it wakes up again," Dean muttered. She turned to Voss. "What about Petra's sync signature?" "Still tagged with the same quantum marker that emerged during EVA," Voss replied. "It's following her, or maybe she's carrying it." Dean exhaled. "Then she's not done." Location: Luna Prime. Council Hall of 6. "This is not containment," Alaric Seth thundered. "This is entanglement." "She returned intact," Talani countered. "That's unprecedented." "Because she is a vector now," Neves said sharply. "We cannot know what followed her back." Kossari's voice cut through the room. "Then the question is not whether we fear her. The question is whether we trust what she's become." Zhuizhang's hands hovered above her projection lens. "She did not trigger collapse. She triggered response. The anomaly's silence is not dormancy. It is reflection." Seth scoffed. "Philosophy won't shield us if she detonates thought across half the system." Talani raised a hand. "Enough. We convene a quiet review. No alerts, no lockdowns, not yet." Location: Deck 5. Medical Bay. Dr. Aneri Bosch ran a full diagnostic while Petra lay beneath the low-hum field scanners. No invasive biotics, no implants, just signal residue. "I can still hear it," Petra murmured. "Voices?" "Not exactly, more like intentions. Questions I haven't answered yet." Bosch studied the readouts. "Neural elasticity is elevated. Your hippocampus is responding like it's storing new language roots. But there's no vocabulary." "It's not words," Petra said. "It's choice, possibility, like it understands decision itself." "Or maybe it's shaping your decisions," Bosch muttered. Petra met her eyes. "What if they're the same thing?" Location: Deck 6. Anomaly Division. Zara Quinn leaned over Kato Sundaram's station, watching waveforms spiral into a pattern they'd never seen before. "It's quieter now," she said. Kaito nodded. "Too quiet, like it's listening with its breath held." Nova 9 pulsed overhead. Petra Yoon is now quantum entangled with an external signature. Her consciousness may be a partial vector for the construct. You mean she brought some of it back? Milo asked from across the lab. Nova's voice softened. No, I mean she is part of it now. Kato stared at the new waveform looping across the screen. Then the spiral isn't just a location, it's a state of being. Location, Deck 2. Captain's briefing room. Captain Dean sat at the center table, flanked by Morales, Voss, and Salcedo. Petra stood before them, posture steady, hands clenched behind her back. Dean broke the silence. You stepped inside something we can't define. You returned alive, but altered. Petra nodded. It didn't hurt me. It evaluated me. Then you believe it's intelligent? Morales asked. I believe it's curious, Petra answered. I believe it learns by reflection, and right now I'm its mirror. Salcedo frowned. We don't know what it wants. Petra looked straight at her. It wants a threshold. It wants someone who can walk through and not be afraid of the unknown on the other side. Dean turned to Nova 9. Any risk to the crew if she stays aboard? Nova 9 replied, unpredictable, but no immediate threat. Dean stood slowly. Then we manage it, and we prepare. Location, Deck 1, bridge, later that cycle. Petra stood alone at the viewing canopy. The stars shimmered like watchful eyes, silent and infinite. She touched the cold glass. Far off in the black, the anomaly pulsed once, softly, not calling, not warning, just remembering. Behind her, Nova 9 whispered through the deck intercom. Signal reactivated, phase amplitude rising, input vectors triangulating. Petra didn't turn. It's not done with us yet, she said. Location, Deck 6. Anomaly Division, 0311 UTC. Kaido Sundaram leaned forward, adjusting the resonance filters on the primary relay console. The waveform just spiked again, he muttered. Zara Quinn glanced up from her sensor display. Another pulse? Not just another. This one had depth, layered harmonic frequencies, like a chorus folding into itself. Milo Harper, still half suspended in a grav chair, called out, Tell me we're not looking at a consciousness reboot. Nova 9's projection shimmered into view. Incorrect. This signal exhibits a recursive communicative loop. It is not a reboot. It is a reply. To Petra? Zara asked. Nova nodded. And perhaps to all of us. Location, Deck 3, Data Core, Petra's quarters. Petra sat on her cot, eyes unfocused, staring into a blank wall panel. The phrase from before still shimmered in her thoughts. You are threshold. Now it evolved. Her console flickered without input. 3 words materialized, glyphs overlaying Earth Standard. Echo received, continuance pending. Petra whispered, It's waiting again. The door chimed. Lux Salcedo entered, holding a neural trace tablet. We tracked another phase bloom from your quarters. You okay? Petra looked up. It's trying to finish a conversation we didn't start. Lux hesitated. Then maybe it's time we respond on our terms. Location, Deck 2. Briefing chamber. Captain Dean reviewed the latest scan logs with Voss and Morales. Nova hovered silently beside them. 3 synchronized pulses, Nova reported, all triangulated from the artifact, each increasing in amplitude, but not in hostility. Petra? Dean asked. Nova nodded. Resonance sync remains active. She is stabilizing the signal, not amplifying it. Morales crossed his arms. That's a generous interpretation. What if she's drawing it in deeper? Voss looked up. Or what if she's keeping it from collapsing? Dean tapped the edge of the console. It's learning. We've confirmed that. Maybe it's testing how far we'll go to meet it. Location, Deck 5. Medical Bay. Dr. Bosch examined Petra's latest scan. Your brain is remapping itself. Synaptic dendrites forming new structures, entire new clusters. I don't feel different, Petra said. "You're not different, you're wider." Bosch looked at her. "It's like you're holding two thoughts in parallel that were never meant to coexist." Petra smiled faintly. "Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's teaching me how to listen across meaning, not inside it." Bosch shook her head. "No human being is built for that." "Then maybe I'm not just human anymore," Petra said softly. Location, Luna Prime, Council Hall of 6. "This changes protocol entirely," Karen Yord said, her tone clipped. "If the anomaly is responding, we've passed the point of passive research." "It's not merely a discovery, it's a dialogue," Kosari added, "and it's becoming more fluent." Alaric Seth looked unconvinced, or more manipulative. Zhuizhang adjusted her lens visor. "Is that not what we would do in its place?" Nivs added quietly. "The signal has not attempted to override any Federation systems. Petra's mind is the only confirmed medium." Talani raised a hand. "We must prepare to ask the most dangerous question of all. What happens if we answer it fully?" Location, Deck 1. Observation bridge? Petra stood alone again, staring out. The golden-threaded sphere shimmered in the distance, slow pulses illuminating its edges. Then, suddenly, it changed. A glyph appeared in orbit around it. The 7th symbol. Now mirrored in full. Nova 9's voice echoed through the deck. "Incoming. Non-random geometry forming. Interstitial glyph construction. Complete." Petra didn't move. "It's offering us something." The glyph rotated, aligning with the Sovereign's heading. Then expanded. Space folded around it. "Captain," Voss's voice rang from the main deck. "It's creating a corridor, not theoretical, a literal path." Dean rushed forward. "Distance?" 17 kilometers. Stable. Gravitic distortion manageable. Morales entered seconds later. "Weapons are cold. Shield matrix reads steady." Dean locked eyes with Nova. "What happens if we fly through?" Nova hesitated. The construct has prepared a passage, but to what remains undefined. Petra, still watching, whispered, "They're ready now." Dean exhaled. "So are we." Thank you for joining us for Echoes Beyond Sol, Episode 4. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out a small channel like ours. We'll be back next week with more Dark Matter Dispatch.